What's going on, everybody? Zero Straw Hats here, and today I'm here for my manga log for the month of January. This is what I'm really excited to do, man. I'm going to get back into doing the monthly manga logs. I told you guys in a previous video how I've been tracking my manga now using an app, which has made it so much easier and funner to keep track of all my manga habits. And with this app, it's very easy to tell exactly what I read this month, and I'm pretty happy with what I've read this month. I feel like I've read a decent amount. Not too many different series, but we're going to go ahead and jump into that and show you guys what I read. And the first thing I read this month, which is the first thing I read this year, which I think is really kind of funny when I look back on it, is Dog Ningen. Everyone in the manga community is talking about this series right now. It's hilarious. It's a really funny series, and what I really like about it is how much slang is in the manga. It's weird because I'm so used to manga being a certain way, and then to hear the kind of words they use in the manga, it's just funny, and it takes you kind of out of the normal kind of atmosphere you would think you were inside of manga. And on top of that, it's just obviously it's really funny, and the art, it's not great, but it does grow on you a bit, and it's fine for what it is. You know, it does enough to tell the story, and I'm definitely gonna pick up the next volume whenever that comes out. But that's all I really gotta say about that one. This next thing I'm gonna talk about here is a series that really kind of got me into collecting to begin with. I got the first 10 volumes of this series and enjoyed it, and then I kind of stopped collecting it for a super long time for whatever reason. But I ended up collecting all of it, so I'm going to talk about this. This is really going to take up the majority of what I read this month, so there's that. But, I just think it's time to finally dive deep into the series and finish it, and that's what I did this month. The series I read this month is Magi. And you see here I have Magi 1 all the way to 22, I believe, right here. Magi right here, 23 all the way to 33. We got volume 34 to 37, which is the end of Magi. So I did go ahead and finish all of Magi this month, which is pretty cool. It's something I wanted to get done for a while. But unfortunately, if you've seen on my Instagram story, I am not too excited with the way it went. So I really enjoyed the first volumes I read before this month. They were really good, and I enjoyed a lot of the stuff that happened this month that I read. Especially a lot of the earlier arcs. I think were pretty good. But the last arc was just really bad in my opinion. I mean, since the time skip, which, small spoiler, there is a time skip eventually in the story. It really went downhill. It got way too political. It got way too really messy. Too much stuff was happening. Not all of it really made sense in the context of the story. It kind of went downhill a little bit, but I don't want to spend this whole video talking bad about Magi, because there is some good stuff I really like about Magi, especially some of the characters in the world building. The main character I really loved a lot was Alibaba. His character was very well written, and there was a lot of interesting things about him, and he was definitely not your typical shonen protagonist. What I really liked about the series is that it did dive into some really tough topics when it comes to war and just politics and all this crazy stuff that was happening between these countries, and I think that was really cool. But at some point in the line, they kind of went too into that, and it became more of just just straight up politics. But that being said, it was a very good series. I think the world building, like I said, was amazing. All the different empires, all the different cultures, how everything came to be was really cool. There was a lot of really cool stuff about here. Also got to obviously shout out one of the best villains in manga with the Sinbad. He was really great. I really want to go ahead and watch the anime to Adventures of Sinbad and see how I feel about that, because I really did enjoy him in the manga for the most part. But at the same time, a lot of things about Sinbad is what I didn't like about the series as well. Not necessarily because of Sinbad's character, just because of the direction they decided to take him in. And then we got characters like Morgiana and Hakuryu, who I really enjoyed Hakuryu a lot, up into a certain extent, where the same kind of thing happened, where I think they made his character make some decisions I wasn't really happy with. But overall, Magi was a fun series. I don't regret having it in my collection, but I will say that I did enjoy it a lot less than I was expecting to like it, and that's kind of disappointing. Also, I think because I binged read it so quickly, and the last arc was such a pain to kind of read through, I think I really should have just done myself a favor and stopped reading it for a bit and came back to it. I kind of feel like some of my negative opinions on Magi is because I binged the last arc, and the last arc just really wasn't hitting me, and I kept waiting for it to get better, waiting for it to get past that little hump, and it never really did for me. But that being said, Magi was a fun series, and one that I would recommend with some caution. And then there's one more thing I read this month, and this one is very different than what I normally do. I don't really read a lot of actual books, but here it is, Ember and the Ashes. So I've actually had this book a part of my collection for a very, very long time. I went to Barnes & Noble's one day, a year or so ago, maybe even longer, and saw this volume and thought the cover looked cool and wanted to try a book. So I got it, and I read the first couple chapters and I enjoyed it, and then I never got back into it. And I finished Magi, and I told myself I'm going to read a couple chapters of this, and then I'm going to start the next manga that I'm planning to read, which is Ping Pong. And then I couldn't put it down, and I'm so into the series right now. This is a really great book. I'm going to go more in depth about what the series is about, but what I really like about it is how the two main characters, Elia and Elias, how it goes from one character to the other, and then back and forth, and the world building in this series is really interesting as well. And my main thing that I really like with the series is that how every single chapter, like I say, okay, I'm done, and then I read it, and then like it leaves you at the spot where you have to read more. I feel like once I'm done with this book, I'll probably do a whole review where I talk very much in depth about this book, because it definitely deserves that. But let me know if you guys are interested in that, because this is particularly a manga channel, but I think that some people will enjoy my opinions on this as well. But that's all I got for you guys there. That's my manga log for the month of January. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I feel like it was a pretty good size of manga I read. I wouldn't say it's the best month as far as what I've read because of my enjoyment of Magi, but I'm happy to finally get Magi done, and I did enjoy a lot of things in it. The ending just didn't really do it for me, and I think as I sit back and kind of digest that, my opinions on it might not be so strong, but we'll see. That's all I got for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.
Yeah.